Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa. Happy Monday, everyone. So today I'd love to talk about boundaries and silent treatment because they're kind of two things that kind of coincide with each other. They're similar in nature, but they have totally different connotations and things surrounding them and why they are what they are and why they're called what they're called, right? So in my experience, in my journey, I have learned that boundaries, something that I never ever put into place in my life, or I shouldn't say I never put them into place, but I never enforced them. And now it's something that's huge in my life. I have boundaries. I make sure that they're watertight. And when people cross them, I speak on it because it's self-respect and it's self-preservation to have boundaries and keep them in place. And so today I just wanted to talk to you about boundaries and ghosting or silent treatment, because silent treatment is a form of manipulation. It's definitely abuse on a psychological level. So how can we marry these two, or put them together? So boundaries are something that you speak on, that people maybe say or do things to hurt you, maybe not intentionally, but they're things that you put into place that you just will not accept, right? That's a boundary. Like, I won't accept that behavior. I won't tolerate that behavior. And so that's something that you speak on. We're humans. We can speak our feelings. And when someone crosses them, then you can speak on the fact that you've already put that into place. You put that out there. And so if someone does not respect your boundaries and stick to your boundaries, that's complete lack of respect of you. So how is ghosting and how is silent treatment different from that? So silent treatment, and this is how we can marry the two. When you go silent or you ghost somebody without speaking how you feel and not already putting a boundary in place, then that is manipulation. That is psychological abuse, because you're not speaking how you feel, and you don't necessarily, you're not talking to the person or people that you're actually ghosting. So they have no idea what's going on. It's a constant not knowing of how you feel just because you're not speaking, you're not answering text messages or calls. So if you put a boundary in place, this is how we can marry the two of them. If you put a boundary in place that you just need to have, and someone crosses that boundary, you have every right to go silent, because you've already spoken on it. You have already discussed the fact that you do not accept these things in your life. You do not accept these situations or these tones of voice or these words said to you, whatever it may be that you're putting up the boundary for. If you've already spoken on them and they have not respected them, the people or whoever you're putting them up for, if they decide to cross, you have every right to go silent. You have every right to cut people out of your life that choose not to honor your boundaries, because at the end of the day, it's about your mental health. You need to keep those boundaries watertight. And if you choose not to, then that's completely up to you. But just know that your boundaries are your ammunition and your self-preservation for your own mental health. And you need to be so aware of your own mental health, because honestly, at the end of the day, that's all we have control over, right? Is how we feel mentally, and what's going on in your head. Nobody has any idea. So just know that if someone does cross your boundaries and does not respect, then you have every right to go silent. You have every right to block. I mean, that's why we have block, things on the phone, block in social media. You can block on Facebook and Instagram, and you can block anybody anytime. So there is nothing wrong with doing that once you've spoken how you feel and you are actually having an adult conversation with somebody, describing what you do not want done to you or said to you. So those are the two things. Just know that the silent treatment is when someone does that to you without explaining why they're doing it, that's first of all manipulation, and second, it shows the lack of maturity in a person to have an adult conversation and talk about why there needs to be no contact. As long as everybody's on the same page, or even if they're not, they can speak how they feel and the reason why they need no contact with you or with whoever. And that's the proper way to do that, because I know a lot of people talk about ghosting, and that's like a thing right now. I don't know if it's just like a made up word. Everybody gets ghosted, which I think is really off-putting, because I just feel like people are so confused by that, and it's just so easy to do, is just to block somebody without explanation. And I just feel like that's such a manipulative tactic on the person who's doing it. And it's trying to cause you pain, right? Or the people who you're doing it to pain. So at the end of the day, hurt people, and healed people, heal people. So I am here to heal you guys. I am here to help you to be a better person, to keep your mental health and to get your mental health in a really good state, because I know that I have been on a really long journey. I think the main part of the journey, or the heart of the journey, really started about 2019, and I have learned so many things, and I've been in a coaching program that was amazing. So I've learned and grown in so many ways that I needed to share it with you guys on YouTube. I needed to get myself out there, because I think people right now are going through such a hard time in life. And I think it's so important to get your knowledge out there and put it out there. So today we talked about boundaries, we talked about silent treatment, and the difference between the two, and the reasons why people do things that they do. And I hope that you go back to my first couple videos, because it explains my beginning and the reason why I wanted to start my channel. And the last video that I did last week, I talked about decluttering, because this whole channel basically is about decluttering your headspace, right? And to get it in a good place. So I started with my, one of my first videos talks about decluttering your space. So go back and watch that if you haven't watched it yet, because that's really huge. And it's something that I truly feel passionate about in even the mental health space, because I think that it makes a big difference. So today, guys, I hope that you learned something about putting boundaries in place, knowing that you have every right to do that, and you have every right to call people out on the fact that they're not respecting your boundaries, and to eliminate people that do not respect your boundaries, because that's huge. That's all we have, right? Is to protect ourselves, and that's a great way to do that. But just know that if someone's giving you the silent treatment, I was going to say silent treatmenting, But if they're giving you the silent treatment, just know that has nothing to do with you, that it comes down to what's going on inside of them and how they just cannot deal with it. A lot of people that do that are emotionally, I wouldn't say challenged, but emotionally immature, and they just don't know how to put their thoughts into words and, you know, get their thoughts out there to you or whoever they're doing it to. So it really has nothing to do with you guys. You know, it really doesn't at the end of the day. So I hope that you guys got something out of this video. I hope it helped you a little bit. I hope that it brought you a little closer to maybe feeling a little bit better about how you feel and being able to have self-confidence and self-control over how you allow people to treat you and how you allow people to come at you, and what self-respect is, because boundaries are self-respect. It's respecting yourself. So keep those boundaries watertight, whatever you do today. And just know that the closer that you get to understanding yourself and understanding what makes you tick, understanding your triggers, which I will talk about. I think in my next video, I'm going to talk about triggers, because that's another big thing that everybody talks about, like trigger warning and what are your triggers. And I want to talk about how to navigate them and how to get through them and how to recognize your triggers when you feel them, and how to heal from them, because if something's triggering you, it's something unhealed in you. So we'll talk about that in the next video. But if no one told you today that they love you, I love you. And I hope that you have an awesome day. I hope that you keep watching my channel, because we are going to dive into some really cool stuff and hopefully heal you from the inside out. And hopefully it, you know, changes the way you think and the way you feel about yourself and others and the world around you. So thanks for tuning in, and I will come back on soon. We'll talk about some other cool stuff. Thanks, guys. See you soon.